Well, let's take a closer look at what's going on with Coinbase and the cryptocurrency market and how the pandemic might be shaping it with Sean Stein Smith. Sean is an assistant professor in the Business and Economics Department at City University of New York. Welcome back to the show.
Awesome to be here. Thank you.
Now, some people have called this a coming out party for crypto or a landmark moment. Others a lot more skeptical. Talk about the significance of this listing.
I would say that it's quite difficult to overstate the impact of this Coinbase Direct IPO, right? And the whole sort of coming out of Coinbase, of Bitcoin, and of crypto out of the fringe corporate finance space into really a mainstream asset conversation talked about by everybody, individuals, firms, hedge funds, banks. Everyone's talking now in a real sort of asset management way on Bitcoin, crypto, and then how it fits into the broader financial markets at large.
So then, as we saw, Coinbase then went with a direct listing. So help us break down how going down this route differs from the traditional IPO and SPACs, especially in terms of how that benefits Coinbase.
Sure. So the two biggest differences with a direct IPO compared to a traditional IPO is that during a direct IPO, anybody has the opportunity to buy, sell, transact in those equity offerings, as opposed to a traditional IPO where the equity shares are normally sort of placed in the hands of 10 or 12 banks who then issue those out to the open marketplace. And then two, sort of in the ethos of Bitcoin at large, having this more open sourced way of buying, selling, all the rest did increase some of that price volatility on Coinbase during its opening hours, but I believe is actually going to help come to a firmer price point faster.
Now, as we saw, it started trading Wednesday afternoon to a lot of excitement. What are the expectations for its first full day and its first full quarter?
There are quite a few, I think, sort of hype trains underway right now, right? Because Coinbase is tied to how Bitcoin has done, right? During the back half of 2020, the first quarter of the current year. So personally, the price action, I think, is, I believe, going to be quite intense during the first full day and the first full week. But I would say that the overall trend is upwards.
So then talk about Coinbase's role in the broader crypto economy. What's its relationship to Bitcoin and other currencies?
Yeah, sure. So the best parallel that I could draw is that Coinbase is an excellent entry point, is an excellent almost portal for individuals and institutions who are trying to get exposure to Bitcoin and to other crypto asset applications, be it DeFi, NFT, or other types of assets out there. And it honestly gives those individuals and firms a easy to understand platform to access all of those different crypto assets.
So then what are some of the biggest drivers of Coinbase's success, and who are the rivals really nipping at their heels?
I would say that the two sort of biggest drivers of their growth have been the uptick in the price of Bitcoin and other assets in this area, starting back in 2020 and underway up until now. And then also, actually, Coinbase was founded back in 2012, so it honestly was the first mover edge out there too. And in terms of other platforms out there, obviously there's Kraken, Binance, and a whole host of others. But the key underlying real sort of risk here is the risk to the current Coinbase trading margins. And honestly, that's probably the biggest operational risk for the firm going forward.
So then, as regulators are obviously watching all this unfold, how do you see their response to the growing cryptocurrency world? Are we seeing any sort of gradual acceptance or more skepticism?
I would say so, that there has been a pivot and a real shift towards more understanding, more education, and more acceptance of Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto into the broader financial markets. Obviously, there are still some individuals out there who have doubts, But I would say overall, having this direct IPO happen is a big win for Bitcoin and other crypto assets becoming part of the mainstream core financial conversation.